Do Will L. My name is Will, and I'm an alcoholic. My sobriety date is October 13th of 2015, and I'm grateful that I have one. Very lucky that I have one. Look at this. First time I'm ever going to use notes. I was trying to prepare today, and first of all, I have had a day of complete and immense gratitude that I'm even here to have a story to share at this point in my recovery, and that is unbelievably exciting and nothing short of a miracle. So I'm going to do my best tonight to tell you what it was like, what happened, and what it's like now. If there's anything I say that you can't reconcile with the big book of Alcoholics Anonymous, please discard it. And if there's anything that I say that offends you, I personally apologize, and you might want to talk to your sponsor about it. I ask if you are a newcomer, by all means, try to listen to the similarities in my story. And I can tell you, when I first got here, my story read like the introduction to Star Wars, and, you know, the Rebel Alliance was in alignment against me, and the entire universe was at stake. And I don't know if I was Luke Skywalker, Han Solo, or Princess Leia, but I know that I was definitely the star, and definitely filled with a lot of ego. And you're going to hear a lot of that in my story, because it's a lot of what brought me here. And it was funny, I came up here before the meeting started, and I was getting a few things arranged, and you want to know how egotistical I was. I picked up the pen to make a note on my water bottle, and y'all, this is my executive pen from like 2004, and it says Will Lindsay, ROI marketing executive, the email address, and my old mobile number before my first trip to rehab. So I don't know if God is making fun of me or speaking to me, but it's quite funny. So as I said, I'm an alcoholic. My drug of choice is alcohol and cocaine that I later traded in for meth and GHB, but always a stimulant and a depressant because I wanted to feel perfectly in sync with the world. I like to say that my story is kind of like 3 M's, from mobile home to millionaire to meth addict, and all of the train wreck and tragedy that comes with that journey. I grew up in South Texas. I am the oldest of 3 boys. My parents got married on Valentine's Day, and I was born on August 21st, so I will let you do the math. So I was welcomed into, and not to mention all of the wedding photos, no one has new clothing, and there's this deep scowl on both my grandmother and grandfather's face. So it was definitely we need to rush to the church to make this happen. So we started off rocky, to say the least. Both of my parents, my mother came from a working class German family. We're German on both sides. German through and through. If you don't know, that means we drink a lot of beer. And I grew up in Broadway Bar. My grandparents actually were the community center for the entire German community that we grew up in. And so most family events, functions, everything was at the bar. So there was always alcohol and liquor from my earliest memory. And it would be more unusual for someone that wasn't drinking than for any of the other things that may have happened. But so mobile home, we were very poor. We ended up in Corpus. My father was a severe alcoholic. I used that term because, I don't know, I think I had a classification for a lot of years that was him, and he was a severe alcoholic, and that was not me. I would never be like my father, and that's a recurring theme through my entire life. But his drinking led to issues and challenges, so my mother was waiting tables and was able to scrape together enough money for a used mobile home, and I like to say that I came from the trailer park, but that's not true. The trailer got repossessed because my father couldn't keep a job. And so we bounced around to grandparents to grandparents, and we've got some shady shit on some of those sides. My father's family, always very suspicious. Come to find out, my aunt discovered that he was part of organized crime in Chicago and had abandoned his original family before moving to Texas and changing his name to William Lindsay, which I'm the third. He was senior, although his was not official and mine was actually on a birth certificate. So a lot of family drama. Definitely not anything that would be considered a normal upbringing or a normal childhood. By the time I was about 4 or 5, I knew already then that I was different. I didn't know why I was different, but I knew I was different. I knew I didn't want to do the things that the other boys wanted to do, and I knew that my mother and aunts and grandmothers treated me differently than they treated my other cousins, and didn't really know why. But, through all of the early childhood, like I never missed a meal. I was never, mistreated or uncared for. So things went fairly normal, but again, very, very modest. My mother got us a place in government housing, an apartment in low-income government housing, and that's where we spent several years before she could scrape together money for a down payment on a house. About that time, she also had a severe back injury, work-related, and slipped several discs in her back, and so became disabled. That was the beginning of that journey. And my father's drinking escalated. I don't really know how else to describe that except escalated. So very much a childhood drama from day to day. We've got a lot of home videos of drunken fights between my parents because my father drank too much and ruined Christmas, and my brother and I are sitting in front of the Christmas tree like, just shut up already, like we don't care, like just let us open our presents. So a lot of chaos at a very early age. So in that time, I've got some childhood. Let me see who that is. Oh, look, better people. I've got a family that is in crisis, and a father who drinks too much, and now a mother who has been injured and is having the first of well over 20 surgeries in her life. And at the age of 6, I was kind of forced to be very independent and always have been. At 6, my mother had my middle brother, and I can remember taking care of my mother, taking care of my infant brother, having my mother in a body cast after a surgery, and my father, working offshore. He was in the oil business. And, it was quite chaotic, but from a very early age, I was the one that was much more the adult in the household than either of my parents. And that continued on for years. So, growing up from there, I had some sexual trauma, molestation with an older cousin that lasted 3 or 4 years. And that didn't come out until I was a teenager, and there was a lot of confusion and guilt around all of that. So I would say it was about my period from like 13 to 15 was quite rocky. My parents' marriage was deteriorating, and there is a whole slew of things that happened in the span of a few years there. Drunken arguments between my parents. I have had the situations with my father where, he held a gun to my head and was, said he wanted to shoot. And I was like, go right ahead, please, dear God, get me out of this mess. So a lot of chaos there. I think after that incident, we ended up, spending 3 days in a motel with a stranger. It was kind of crazy. And, then it was leading up to my parents' divorce. And at the age of 14, I honestly had had enough of all of them and decided it was time to check out. And so at 14, I had an attempted suicide, an overdose. And I was not like a teenager looking for attention. I did not want attention. Like I wanted it. I just wanted out. I just wanted out in any way, shape, or form I could possibly get. And I did it. I did it really, really well. I took all of the pills my father always threatened to take that he was always too chicken to take. And I'll never forget my mother. It started, my mother was having an affair with one of my father's best friends, and it was a mess, and I wanted that to end. And I'll never forget her coming into my hospital room and, in tears, "I hope you're happy. It's over." Like, bitch, I don't care. I hope it's over. Going through, that was the first time I saw a therapist, saw a psychologist. And it was probably the only time I saw a professional that was not around my addiction and trying to get me into recovery. So after all of that, my parents separated, my mother remarried, and I kind of really detached and got to the age of like, look, I knew I was different. I knew I was gay. And I really, really just detached from my family and focused on school. I was always a very good student, and I was always very focused. I don't really know, looking back and trying to explain it, I don't know how that's even possible, but it was true. I excelled and did. I was an honor student in high school, knew exactly where I wanted to go to school, college. I was the first on both sides of the family to go to college. I went directly to UT. Finished 4 years from the day I graduated from high school. I mean, man on a mission. And I just wanted my own life, and I wanted my own way in the world, and I wanted, complete and true independence. And, I don't have those stories like there was a little drinking in high school, nothing that I would even say even merited noting. But in college, things kind of changed. I can kind of even remember, I hid in the church when I was in high school, and my best friends were gay, and we hid in the church. And that was our safe place. So good Southern Baptist boys did not drink alcohol, so we didn't drink. Now, we did sleep together, but we certainly did not drink, nor did we dance. And I'll never forget, in college, someone handing me a beer. And I was like, oh, I don't know, my father drinks too much of that. I don't know. I don't even know if I should have this. And I did, and it was great. And life was fun. And college was, I waited tables, I put myself through school. We liked to work hard, play hard. And it was a blast. I had so much fun in college in Austin. Enjoyed all of it. Met my first partner, long-term relationship in our sophomore year. We were together for 7 years. And this is when I get to this period in my life where everything is working externally, right? Like, I'm doing really well in school. I had not even experimented with drugs. I would have strange things happen, like the one semester in college when I tried drugs, like I got like straight A's. And you're like, oh, this is great. I can do whatever I want to do. Again, I can do whatever I want to do, as long as I'm not like my father. And of course I'm not like my father, he's a loser. Alcoholic loser. Severe alcoholic, excuse me, that's my psychological term for him. So again, it's all working. I got out of school. I moved to Dallas in '93. I've partied with so many of the folks in Dallas recovery. It's kind of funny. But again, it was all working. A lot of heavy drinking, but the kind of heavy drinking that a mid-20s frat boy group of people can do and get away with. And you drink too much on Friday and Saturday, and then you rest up on Sunday, and you are back at work on Monday just taking on the world. And it's funny because when I was in that period of my life, I would always say it was perfect and it was great, and I did have a lot of fun, and things were working on the outside. But I look back through the eyes that you guys have given me to look back on my past, and I can see now that, like, on business trips, I always had to land and, like, take my rental car and go to the, I don't know, CVS, Walgreens, grocery store, something. But, like, I traveled with corkscrews and wine glasses and, like, stuff that, like, normal people don't have and don't do. And, I drank a lot. I think there was a large time there professionally where I got away with a lot because, my boss drank too, and we enjoyed drinking together, and we enjoyed having fun together. And, it was just a group of young folks who were just having a great time. And I loved it. But I realized that there's always something that I would do wrong, or something that I couldn't accomplish. Like, for example, my partner, I don't know, mid-90s, it was a New Year's Eve, and he said he was working late, and he was like, "You're going to pick me up at 10 o'clock, and then we're going to go meet our friends, whatever." Oh, that's perfect. Absolutely, that's what we're going to do. And he specifically said, "I don't want you to drink." What? Okay. I was like, "I can totally do this." He says, "I don't want you to drink, and I don't want you to have alcohol in the car." Okay, I've got this. So I didn't have any hard liquor, right? I just had some wine. Like, I just needed to get ready. And I wanted to surprise him, so I went and bought a really expensive bottle of champagne and had that in the car, chilled. And when I picked him up, like, I can look at this, I can hear this story now and be like, "Oh my God, what the hell? Are you kidding me?" And here I am, happy. Like, "Aren't you happy to see me? Look what I bought you." And he's like, "You've been drinking just a little wine. Like, that doesn't even count." And that is kind of like a repeating theme that gets larger and larger in my life. And, then it's, "Oh, honey, I think you're right. I don't think I'm going to drink hard liquor when I'm getting ready. That's probably too much. I'll drink something lighter." And I would get suggestions like, "Well, why don't you just not drink while you're getting ready before we go somewhere?" Like, wow, I don't know, that seems really bizarre, but I'll try it. Always constantly getting and pushing the limit a little bit further and a little bit further. And by then, and doing geographics, but my geographics, y'all, are freaking hilarious. Like, I lived north Cedar Springs, but my friends there partied too much. So I went and bought a condo on Turtle Creek to do a geographic, and I'm not kidding you. 2 of them came and bought units in the complex. Y'all, we controlled the whole place, and we partied the whole time. Had like the biggest New Year's Eve party in 1999 at my condo there. And that's probably the peak of like, wow, this is amazing. And it would have probably been about right before we met. And moved in with a friend, we got a bigger townhouse, we had bigger parties, we had more strobe lights, I had a fog machine, we had club lights, I had traffic that would stop. It was that 3-story townhouse at Wycliffe and Douglas, and we were the corner unit, and it's all windows, all 3 floors up. And we would have fog machine and strobe lights and music and people on both balconies and cars lined up literally on both streets, like every Friday and Saturday, just to watch the show. And that seemed normal to me. That was when I turned 30, platinum blonde hair, and just thinking, this is all fantastic and wonderful. But no, I did another geographic. I was like, you people drink too much, and I need to get away from you. And so I bought a house on White Rock Lake because I was going to go out and be all zen and peaceful. Well, I was getting a little bit older, and it wasn't so easy to keep up with the young'uns. So I found this wonderful white substance that just got me through the day. Got me through the night, excuse me. But it was one of those fun things. It's okay because we didn't do it much. Things start slipping. And it was okay until we didn't do it much. And then we would do it more. And then I would know who to get it from. Well, and then I had a regular. Well, then I had a regular dealer and a backup. And then I had a regular pickup day and time. Every Tuesday at noon, I picked up my $500. And we were good with this system. I'm not kidding you. Like, my office was at Legacy in the Tollway in North Plano, right where Frisco starts. And I would drive down to Oak Lawn every Tuesday at noon for my pickup, but boy, I had to have it. And again, there were not big consequences, so I thought it was okay. So the cocaine allowed me to drink more. Like, if there's anyone in this room that doesn't know that, I'm sorry to spoil that for you. Cocaine helps you drink more alcohol. Like the best thing when you're drunk and you're like, I need to drive. Boy, clear you right up. And it did that for me, for sure. And this is my mid-30s, and now is when I'm starting to have consequences that aren't looking like consequences to me. I'm wrecking luxury cars. Like, I don't know, that railing just came out of nowhere and like slapped the whole side of the car. I was drunk leaving a work meeting in Fort Worth, coming onto the freeway, and coming to meet a dealer to pick up cocaine. Wow, it made sense to me. And hit something like a little pebble, right? Just a little pebble. And it was a little convertible. And I got out, and like from the front end of the car, the whole thing was gone, and the wheel was sideways. And I was like, oh my God. But I called a tow truck, and he was there in like 3.5 minutes. Towed it to my house on White Rock. He goes, where do you want this? I said, just put it out there on the street. Like, just right there. I've got another car in the garage. I need to go. I got to pick something up. You know what I mean? And, and then we filed the paperwork. I actually had my auto dealer's license on the side then, and these were cars that I had bought at auction, and that was a Porsche 911 convertible, and we had 2 of them. And my partner said, when they paid me, because, everything was insured, so I get the check from State Farm, and I was like, oh my God, I made so much money. And he goes, what did you learn through this whole experience? I said, I'll tell you one thing, State Farm pays way more than consumers do. So again, consequences and things that are happening to me that I am not seeing at all. I mean, at all. And so, needless to say, obviously the drinking and using gets worse, or I wouldn't be here to tell you about it. But there's a series of things that happen. Life happens to all of us, and my solution, these are the words that you guys have given me to understand all of this. My solution is to numb and medicate feelings that I don't know how to process, and I do that with drugs and alcohol, and I do it really, really well. And it had gotten to a point where I'm embarrassed to say, and again, all this time, like, I'm looking at my traumatic childhood, severe alcoholic father, and I will do anything in my life to just not be my father, just not be my father, just not be my father. And I feel like there was a period here where, wow, I think I was way worse. I had extended periods of time where I would, work all day at the office. go home and work on my car business with cocaine and Chardonnay until about 4 a.m. And then I would sleep for 2 hours or pass out, whatever, and make it back up to the office. God only knows when, 9:30. And by 11:30 or 12, the headaches from the cocaine were so bad that I would have to leave the office at noon and go drink wine or beer or vodka in a big gulp cup just to make it back to the office. And I think to make it back, like it's comical to think that was working, or I thought it was working. So I've been there, but I was always able to recover. And so I'd been at my job with AT&T Wireless for like 15 years, and my drinking and using had gotten so out of control, my boss was like, okay. And we just came to agreement, like there's nothing. Biggest regret of my life is when he said, is there a problem here? Did you see my pen? No damn problem here. Are you kidding me? I don't have a problem. You have a problem. And, I left. And when I left, I went to Blockbuster Online here, headquartered in Dallas, and cleaned up my act. I did. I cleaned up my act. I was like, I gotta get it together. Like every other time in my life, it's messy. I can pull it back, pull my bootstraps up, and I can get back on the horse, and I can just get shit straightened out. And this whole time, I've put all my stock in my relationship and my career. I shouldn't say that. My career was always first. My career, my accomplishments, who I was, my ego, my cars, the wrecked ones and the non-wrecked ones, and my relationship. And in 2009, I don't know if you noticed, but Blockbuster did not win. Y'all, and that was real shitty because their head of marketing was one of my old bosses at AT&T Wireless, so there was a lot of competition between the two of us. As a matter of fact, one of the times I tried to get sober, I contacted him for a job, and he was like, are you fucking kidding me? No way. So my life has come back to bite me many times. But I had already laid off pretty much everyone on the marketing team. Our budgets were at zero, and we were closing up shop. And so it was my turn to get laid off, January of 2009. And I remember getting laid off, and a week later was my partner's 40th birthday. And boy, we had a big birthday, and nothing can come in the way of like the big party. And I was gonna pull it together again. And this is the time that I was not able to pull it together. I was laid off, and 7 days later I was at my doctor's office because I was gonna have, full bill of health. My health, I'm great, strong, I can go take on the world, and found out I was HIV positive. And to say that I was shocked and in denial is an understatement. And I just couldn't comprehend that, I know how it happened, high on cocaine, cheating, right? On my partner, the person we wanted to spend the rest of our lives together. And I have to tell you, I kind of think that if one or the other would have happened and I could have regrouped, maybe something could have been different, but getting knocked down 7 days apart, I couldn't see straight. And I remember to this day that thought of, well, if I'm not gonna work for a while, because that's not important. If I'm not gonna work for a while, maybe I should check out that cheaper product these kids are talking about. I remember talking to my dealer, I was like, what is this whole meth thing? Let's talk about that. I hear it's a better high, it's cheaper, seems so much more efficient. And that is literally where the wheels came off in my life. And what time is it, y'all? I want to get sober. it took over my life, every single aspect of my life. I could not see straight. I could not, for a while, I was okay, or so I thought. But I would go in and out, and no matter what I did, I couldn't get out of that cycle. And at that point, I'd already traded in the alcohol and the cocaine for meth and GHB. And I don't know, that's like the upgrade of the century, switching out those substances. But when I say my world got small really fast, it got small really fast. I couldn't get focused and get back on my feet to get back to working. Like, I couldn't stop using to talk to recruiters. You know, all of this stuff, like if I told y'all everything that went behind these campaigns that went to like all the recruiters in the United States many times over and over again, to try to get back on my feet, because like I was gonna get it together and I couldn't. And so that was my first trip to rehab. And I have got to be really honest, the steps. Like my first time in rehab, they weren't listening, y'all. Like, they didn't listen. Like, we started at the beginning. They're like, you need to admit you're an alcoholic. I was like, bitch, I haven't had a drink in 6 months. I'm not an alcoholic. Like, I have this little drug problem that I really, really want to get resolved so I can get out of here. And so my first trip through rehab was very much, holy shit, I'm in trouble. Where's the checklist? I need to get out of here. And I did it all mentally. What do I need to do to get out of here? Here's my checklist. And I remember sitting in there with my group and my counselor going, okay, well, I'm not doing, number one, no, that's not right. That's not me. I mean, yeah, okay, say I'm sorry to some people. What? That's just common decency. I will do that one, okay? And she's just like, making her notes, like, okay, that's great, And I look back on that and oh God, if I could be a fly on the wall to see me go through that. I got out, and that is my first introduction to Lambda and to the gay men in recovery in Dallas. And you probably won't be surprised to know I only made it 6 weeks after rehab. I remember being at the Lambda location on Butler and picked up a 90-day chip at a noon meeting, high as a kite. Oh my God. Like I don't know how I walked up to get the damn 90-day chip. But like I look at that and I'm like who is that for? Like, it wasn't for y'all. I was so lost. And so, millionaire, in the middle of all of that, I had been able to have a net worth in excess of. And that's a huge accomplishment for a little gay boy from South Texas who had an alcoholic father and sent himself to college. So I was very, very proud of my accomplishments and of my life. But at this point, it was over, because all that was important to me was my career and my relationship. And I had lost both, right? And now I was going to lose my life. Like I was all that, oh, why me? I'm going to die anyway. So I'm going to party like a rock star, and I'm going to drive myself to a heart attack before I run out of cash. And that was like the plan. And in the middle of all of this, my father had been estranged from my brothers and I for years. And I want to say it was 2011-ish. And we get a call that he has died. And it was suicide by gun. And we had to go down to Corpus to wrap that up. And I found out there, now mind you, my whole world is collapsing, but I'm still showing up for my family to pretend like everything is going to be okay, I promise. I feel stress just telling y'all that, like the weight of what that was like, trying to pretend that it was gonna be okay and I was gonna get through it. And like, I knew absolutely no way to make that happen. I knew no way to not use drugs. And if I ran out of drugs, I would drink tequila. And like, that would be okay because it was a margarita in a nice glass. And, at that point, my family was worried about me, and my mother came up from East Texas to live in the house with me. My partner and I separated, and so he moved out. And there was a fear that I was going to kill myself. So the irony that while they're all on, house arrest, which, oh, God, that just remained. They used to put me on house arrest and take away my keys, my wallet, everything. And so I used to have my drug dealer, I used to park my car on the street and have my drug dealer come and leave them in the car door, and I would leave him gift cards. And I'd be like, I just need an 8-ball, but I will give you $400 worth of gift cards. They'll be in the door. And like, y'all, this is manageable. This is what I think is manageable. So I like to say that I am one of those alcoholics and addicts who lost everything. And I did. But again, with the vocabulary that recovery has given me, I traded everything I had to drink and to use. And I did that with every single penny in every single account, with every single person, and traded in every single friend, my partner, my career, my life, my job, my self-esteem, everything. And then the cops showed up. And y'all, I was just trying to be a good driver on I-30. I swear to you, I left someone's house at 4:30 in the morning in Oak Cliff and had to get to White Rock. And it was a Tuesday morning, and I thought it would be a good idea to take a hit of G before I drove home. So at 9:30 in the morning on the side of I-30 in Garland, an officer knocks on my door. I safely pulled off the freeway because I knew I was in no condition to drive, and fell out. Took a nap, fell out, whatever. Which, if any of you have ever done it, when you come to, you don't know what's happened. Like, you're like, what? So the officer's knocking on my window. Good morning. What's up? I was like, oh, on my way home from the gym. I think I got a tank top on. I think I'm on my way home from the gym. And they had their field day, I think, laughing at me, and he goes, do you mind if we look through your car? No. Why would I have anything to hide, officer? Of course you can look through my car. Would you mind waiting in the back of our car while we look through your car? That sounds quite reasonable to me. And I remember sitting in the back of the police car on that Tuesday morning, like, what is happening? Like, why are they going through my car? What is happening? And I was like, oh my God, wait a minute. And I remembered where I had been, what I was doing, and how high I was. And 18-wheelers honking. I didn't know why they'd honking, but like I could remember the 18-wheelers honking. And oh my God, there's a bag of meth, a pipe, a torch, butane, everything in the center console. And I remember sitting there and just one time in my life where everything just went silent and stopped. And I mean, it was just that, oh shit, I am absolutely 100% screwed. And he came and opened the door and said, do you mind if I put these handcuffs on you? And I said, no, sir, officer, that would be fine with me. I've never been in trouble before, and, I don't know what to do here. Long story short, I would love to tell you that scared me straight, and I got sober, and I straightened up my life. But it did not. It got 1,000 times worse. My using an addiction took everything. And it was when I was being sentenced 2 years later I had nothing. All the everything of life was down to 4 storage units and a U-Haul that was sitting in front of the courthouse. And when I can't believe that I was in so much fear, or my solution was so sad, that even at my final hearing in front of the judge with my attorney, I was high as a kite. I had been up for days, standing there like holding his hands like, yes, Your Honor, I hear you. I know, yeah, I'm going to do this. And I would have been, screwed that day had I started probation then. I had to wrap it up here. Get into treatment for the second time. Sober living changed my life. My second time through rehab, I didn't do it as a checklist. As a matter of fact, my second time in rehab, I didn't even read the first 164 pages. All I read was the stories in the back of the book. I was looking for a way to connect with you guys, and I was looking for a way to just not hurt so much and anymore. I wasted way too much time with the train wreck, but I will tell you this. When I came in here, I didn't have a problem. I didn't think I had a problem. I had an issue. I needed to get my paper signed. And you guys let me do that. We'll sign your paper, and we will listen to you, and we'll let you sit here with us. And I can't tell you how incredible that is and what you all mean to me. As an outsider who was just coming in for that signature, you were loving, supportive, and no matter how many times I didn't want to do what I was asked to do, you were patient and kind with me. And I can't tell you how that changed my life. Like I said, alcohol and crystal meth. I stay active in both fellowships because I know how my mind works. And if I get lazy in one, I'll think that one is okay. And I know it'll take me back out. You told me that if I worked the steps, that I wouldn't drink or use again. And to my complete shock, you were absolutely right. And the only reason I keep coming back and the only reason I keep working with others is because it's the absolute only thing in my whole entire life that has kept me from drinking or using, ever. And so if you're new, I'm so glad you're here. Stick around. If there's anything I can do to help you, let me know. It works. It works whether you want it to or don't want it to. It works whether you're happy to do it or bitching the entire time. It just works. So stick around. Keep coming back. That means tomorrow, get a sponsor, work the steps, and you won't ever have to drink or use again either. Thank you for letting me share.